Andrew Wilkinson is a financial advisor with the Delphi Insurance Brokers, and he joins me on the platform. Hello, Andrew.
Oh, g'day, Leah. How you going?
I am good. Look, in your line of work, I mean, everyday people you would see, trying to get ahead, plan for the future. Times are particularly tough, though, at the moment, and it makes sense, does it not, if you could stay at home as long as you can to save for a deposit, you do it right. But should they financially contribute?
It probably depends on the circumstances, obviously. I think, if nothing else, you should offer to contribute. You can't force that money into your parents' bank accounts necessarily, and some parents won't hear a word of it. In my situation, for example, my parents probably wouldn't ask me to pay board, but I would always offer to, and I think that's the minimum really expectation you should have if you're living under their roof past age 18.
Andrew, you're not at home still, are you?
Not me personally, but I'm just saying in that situation,
Yeah.
I'm sure my parents are lovely. But the thing is, they have the benefit of being mortgage-free, and a huge amount of people in New Zealand obviously have massive mortgages.
Yeah.
And I found some stats. It's something like average mortgage is like $375,000, for which at a 7% interest rate, which things are at the moment, that's $2,800 a month in payments, and then round that up to like $3,500 when you've got insurance rates, all that other kind of stuff that's going out. So I don't know, fucking in $100, $200 a week for board doesn't seem like much in that kind of calculation.
Gosh, I wish mine was $3,500. My gosh, that would be a dream. And also, what are you teaching? But I think, what are you teaching your young adults, your kids who are now in their 20s? What are you teaching them about finances if you're not at least taking a wee stipend off them? Because they're going to go out in the world and they've got to pay bills anyway.
Yeah. It's a good, I was reading that article about the one you're referring to. One of the quotes from one of the people interviewed said, "You as a parent should take care of your child till he is dead. That's your whole point." I think that's a pretty ridiculous quote, though, because if you have the responsibility all the way till you die at age 90, your kid is age 60 at that point, and they've never had your own kind of ability to live their own life, pay their own bills. You're leaving that person in a pretty precarious position if they're learning how to be an adult at age 60.
Exactly.
So, the earlier you get them kind of weaned off, the better, in my opinion, there.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, wean them off it. In your role as well, because you work to secure people's futures, and it's hard at the moment to put even a little bit aside. If we talk retirement. So when people are really at the moment, pay packet to pay packet, is it, what are you finding with your clients? Are they foregoing payments to supers, or what are they doing?
Yeah, I don't do an all-encompassing financial plan for most people. It's mostly relating to KiwiSaver in the first instance. And certainly most people only doing the minimum KiwiSaver contribution of 3%, and then a lot of people are also taking that extra step, going to the IRD and taking a contributions holiday for about 12 months, and that is another kind of way they can save 3% more. But, I'd say that as a kind of a last resort, because if you're doing that now, you've got less money building up for your retirement as well, which is going to be equally as important.
I know.
The earlier you can start compounding that, the more you're going to have there. Other ways to save more money, there's not too many. It's a pretty rough situation out there at the moment. If you've got the ability to live at home with your parents in your 20s, I wouldn't be ashamed, but I think it's a fine alternative. If the alternative is renting, at least you're paying your parents' mortgage rather than some random landlords, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's true. And even if, like you said, even if your parents were mortgage-free and they really, really don't want to take it, they could put it in an account and then, and give it back to you when you move out and just say, look, I didn't spend it, put it on your house. There's ways around it, but I think you should at least maybe, you got to contribute something, groceries, power. Should saving for your retirement, Andrew, should it be mandatory?
Honestly, I think it has to be, because otherwise people just... There's something to be said for forced saving mechanisms like KiwiSaver, that people, it's sad to say, but people just don't have the discipline to otherwise.
No, that's true.
Unless it's a very cultural thing, through some statistics I don't have in front of me here, but somehow, I think Americans save something like 3% of their salary on average, whereas you compare that to the average Chinese saver, they save something like 40 or 50% of their income, which is absolutely ridiculous. And even though they get paid about a tenth of an American, they still have very similar amounts saved at the end of the year. just due to the culture over there. But I mean, Western cultures, it seems to be that there's very much a paycheck to paycheck mentality. And if you can just, 3% isn't much at the end of the day. Like, it's a very minor sacrifice. And what you're getting out of it, at least with KiwiSaver, is you're getting a guaranteed 3% extra from your employer, and you're getting another 520 from the government every year, thereabouts. You're not going to get a better return on your investment for that first 3%. Anything more than that, if you can afford to do it, it's great, but you're not getting quite the same benefits as the first 3% you put in.
Is it the commissioner of superannuation? She's the commissioner, and she was. I read recently that she wants to bring it up the minimum to 4%. That she thinks 3% is just not cutting it.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I mean, well, the benefit there is if that's the case, then your employer is matching 4% as well.
Yeah.
So it's more free money, in my opinion. It's a good thing for everyone. Maybe not employers so much.
No, that's probably a problem.